Ministers and Heathrow chiefs were warned a decade ago that a key weakness at the airport was its main electricity supply, the Mail on Sunday can reveal. A report by Jacobs, a major consultancy, highlighted in November 2014 how electricity outages could completely shut Europe's busiest airport. Even a brief interruption to electricity supplies could have a long-lasting impact as systems can take time to recover, warned the report, which is published on a government website. The revelation comes as Heathrow was yesterday branded a laughingstock, and its bosses accused of complacency after a fire at a single electricity substation closed the airport for nearly 24 hours. The blaze at the North Hyde substation in Hayes on Thursday night resulted in unprecedented scenes, with nearly 1,400 flights cancelled or delayed. Some 120 transatlantic services were forced to turn round mid-journey and tens of thousands of passengers were stranded across the globe. Despite the airport declaring yesterday that it was open and fully operational, the disruption is expected to last until the middle of this week because planes and crew are now out of position. Around the world. Last night, Heathrow's chairman Lord Paul Dayton said an internal review into the power outage will be chaired by former Labour Transport Secretary Ruth Kelly. He said it will focus on the airport's crisis management plans. Lord Toby Harris, chairman of the National Preparedness Commission, which promotes policies designed to better prepare the UK for crises, said the closure was an enormous failure. It sounds to me like Heathrow Airport was simply not as prepared as it should have been, he said, adding that a statement from Heathrow saying backup systems at the airport worked the way they should was rather complacent. Jason Boner, owner of supply chain company PS Forwarding, said it was expecting to receive cargo on 15 UK-bound flights, all of which were cancelled or diverted following the fire. I had friends in India phoning me at 5 a.m., asking me what's going on, he said. I have a WhatsApp group full of international freight forwarders with memes and such. We are a laughing stock. Yesterday, Energy Secretary Ed Miliband ordered the National Energy System operator to urgently investigate the power outage. He has also told the watchdog to take a broader view of whether the electricity grid is vulnerable to more disasters. We are determined to properly understand what happened and what lessons need to be learned, he said. The government is determined to do everything it can to prevent a repeat of what happened at Heathrow. The probe is likely to focus on why Heathrow relies on such limited, and aging, electricity infrastructure. Its ability to operate is dependent on just 3 electricity substations. If one completely fails, the power it provides cannot be replaced without lengthy delays. It was a vulnerability highlighted by Jacobs in a report commissioned as part of a proposal to extend Heathrow's northern runway in 2014. The report said, beyond the management of supply and grid services, which lie outside the airport's control, the responsibility for managing electricity supply risk lies with the airport and businesses operating from the airport. While some services can be temporarily supported with generator or battery backups, the key weakness is the main transmission line connections to the airport. The report said the airport appears to have adequate provision of utility infrastructure, but added, outages could cause disruption to passenger, baggage and aircraft handling functions and could require closure of areas of affected terminals or potentially the entire airport. Heathrow's chief executive Thomas Waldby yesterday said he was proud of the airport's response to the chaos. He added, "Our systems are not designed to power the entire airport. I was not shocked at the fact we do not have backup power for every single system in the airport. That would require a separate power plant of a big size to be on standby all the time." Mr. Waldby insisted, the same would happen in other airports. But other major hubs have plowed millions into boosting power supplies. Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport in the U.S., the world's busiest, spent $100 million to build 20 backup generators after it lost power in 2017. Also, 13,000 solar panels are being installed on the roof at John F. Kennedy Airport in New York as part of a microgrid that will provide electricity for half of daily operations at its new terminal. 1. Willie Walsh, former boss of British Airways who now heads aviation trade body IATA, said the meltdown on Friday was yet another case of Heathrow letting down travelers and airlines. He asked, "How is it that critical infrastructure of national and global importance is totally dependent on a single power source without an alternative?" British Airways said yesterday that it expected to run 85% of its flights. National Grid said it was making changes to improve the resilience levels of our network. Experts warned that passengers will receive refunds, but compensation will not be paid. Passenger rights regulations state that if a flight is cancelled for any reason, the airline must offer a full refund or a flight on the next available alternative, even if it is with a rival airline. But disruption caused by a fire, bad weather or other extraordinary circumstances does not entitle passengers to compensation. Liz Steele said it was devastating to miss her youngest son Paddy's graduation at Stirling University on Friday. She said, "I've been to every other graduation my kids have had, and I just always thought I would be there." Single quote.